If you've ever made a 32 bar loop that sounds incredible, the mood is locked, the textures are moving, and you hit a wall of, okay, but where does the actual track happen? This video is for you. One of my patrons said something the other day that sparked this whole idea. This sounds great, but where do you go from here to make it into a full track? That's where I struggle the most. And that's exactly what we're gonna be solving. I'm gonna walk you through a simple 4-stage framework to turn a loop into a finished track, especially for ambient, where the magic is in evolution, not constant change. We're gonna take that loop and let it breathe, adding depth in a way that doesn't clutter the mix. Then we'll focus on movement using automation and modulation so it feels like the track is evolving on its own. And from there, it's all about shaping a real journey with a few intentional scenes and using the spectrum as part of the emotion, not just the cleanup. So by the end, you'll have a repeatable way to go from a loop to a full track without losing the vibe that made it special. Anyway, thank you for being here, and let's go ahead and dive in. This video is brought to you by the Signs of Life Patreon. Discover tutorials for all skill levels, as well as full track walkthroughs and track breakdowns, over 100 preset and sample packs, and the Signs Circle Group for track feedback and support, and I also offer personalized one-on-one ambient coaching. Well, what are you waiting for? Sign up today and join us. The link is down below in the description. So check this thing out. So the first point that I have to make is, layering, right? So we've done that already in this track. We've got layers. We've got our pad in there. We've got sort of a field recording that's coming from the actual pad itself. But at this point, you might want to introduce some melodies, and that again is with that lead sound. I'll go ahead and solo the lead while the chart's still up on the screen. You guys can hear the lead, right? So that's sort of coming through as a melodic lead line. That's something you might want to do. And then at the bottom of point 1, this is where the real work begins, which to me is staggering the layers, and you start evolving the patterns that are already there, okay? So let's go back to the track here, and what I'll do is I'll start staggering the layers. Now again, I'm just in Ableton here, and I'll go ahead and take these leads, and maybe we'll push these out to about bar 9. We'll push out the bass here to around the same, and we'll push this soundscape out. Maybe we'll leave the soundscape there. So now when I hit play, we're just gonna hear the pad and the soundscape, all right? Let's go ahead and turn off the sequence. There we go. So it's just a nice basic opener, kind of setting the mood, if you will, right? So you start staggering the layers first, and then bass comes in, right? And the bass could possibly fade in, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's fade this bass in over the course of 16 bars there, right? So now we're getting somewhere, because we started off with this beautiful kind of pad. We can even move the sequence out to bar 5. So it starts off with the pad. All right, very Martin Sturzer-like opening. Kind of sets the mood here in the vibe. Soundscape starts evolving. And then, that bass is coming. Oh yeah. Let's actually just focus on this part right here before even the lead comes in. I like this, because what we can do here is we can now look at the frequency spectrum. And of course, that's with our span, right? So often, on my Patreon and in my YouTube membership, and even in some of my deep dive videos, you'll often hear me talking about the frequency spectrum like a canvas, like a white canvas, and you're painting on the white canvas as sort of a, metaphor, if you will. And so this is where we are. And so you kind of have to look to see, obviously your track might be different. You have to see what space you have left, what's occupying what. I mean, that field recording is really up in the high end, you know? And this is where that lead's gonna come in. So I'm gonna let it just kind of play. We'll start with the bass here. And what you're gonna hear is that lead is sort of out on its own, which is cool, okay? Here comes the bass. Oh yeah. Let's turn down the lead a little bit. Love that. So you really want to get this sense of space at the beginning. Not forcing it, leaving enough room for the other elements to make their appearance known. I love it. Fantastic. That's really, really good. And maybe that lead just needs to be there just for that moment. Because after the lead comes in, perhaps that's where the sequence can finally arrive, right? Let's take this bass, extend it out. And in the other video, in the Ancient Technology 4 video, we created the sequence, all right? And as you know, those of you who are longtime fans of Stepic, to get MIDI out of Stepic, you can use the bar count up here. You can drag up to 16 bars of MIDI right down your timeline with all randomization and velocity set, okay? So as you can see, I've got randomized velocity. I've got the octave in sort of a ratio mode here, if you will. And I can just go ahead and drag this out using this button right here, drag it right out to my timeline, okay? So let's begin fading this sequence in here. And we'll start by doing some automation. Let's go mixer, track volume. Again, I might do this differently if I was, you know, working on my own, but at the same time, this is the way you do it. All right, so we're gonna start here and the sequence will fade in. Let's turn it on again. And you're gonna hear that sequence starting to fade in. Oh yeah. Gorgeous. But in the time that we've spent here, now we've got something started. So let's go back to the chart. Because now we've started even to section number 2. We've started automating these layers. From the low to the mids to the highs, okay? We haven't added any crazy transitions or anything, but we're in it. This is where it starts. Okay? So like I said, awareness of the frequency spectrum. That's super important. What is the frequency spectrum doing? What are you doing with the frequency spectrum? These are all considerations that you'll have to make on an individual basis. How does it sound in your track? Not my track, your track. Okay? Very important stuff. So now that we have this established, let's go back and look where we are. We've got this nice loop playing right there. So what if we fade out the soundscape, okay? And we say to ourselves, all right, that's cool, that's a nice opener, and then from here, we're gonna fade this out, okay? So now, our track can continue on without the soundscape there. And we can have a beautiful second perspective on what this track would sound like, which is gonna open up more space in our frequency spectrum. Watch this. So we have our span here. Notice the sequence up here covering our high end. But now, we're starting to fade that down, okay? And you're gonna notice we have more clarity and space up on the high end. Where's the spotlight going? You are the director of your performance. Where are you putting the spotlight? Very important stuff, okay? So let's now get into our creative mode and we'll add a second sequence that we'll introduce here, okay? The this is where we go off the rails here, off the script. I love it. Let's open up Static. And I'll just do a simple kind of 4-note sequence. We're playing an F minor here. I'm gonna go F2, okay? And I think I wanna do like an 8-step sequence. And we'll put it in like, say, natural minor. And it's gonna be at 16th notes, because this is gonna be a kind of a very low, simple, kind of like that, okay? I can already hear it before I even start. All right? So we'll randomize that as well. And we'll maybe even extend it out. So just a ratio of, you know, either 16:1 or whatever you want. Okay, cool. So now let's add a synthesizer here. I'm just gonna go with Serum 2 because that's sort of the theme here. And I'll create my own preset, all right? Let's do it really quickly. Follow along. So we're gonna go lower the sustain. We're gonna make a second envelope, lower the sustain out of that, lower the decay. Turn on filter 1, switch it to low 24. And I will drag envelope 2 over to the cutoff and make it unipolar by hitting Shift, Alt, or Option, and click. There you go. We'll take an LFO, put it in free running mode, and we'll go to 4 bars and drag it over and lower it down. Great. How about lately? And with lately, because I know it's a sort of a chunky wavetable, let's go into the wavetable menu. We'll go to the morph menu and we'll say crossfade. Now it's nice and smooth, right? We'll take a second LFO, put it in sample and hold mode, smooth it out, and we will put it into Hertz mode and move the wavetable position. Great. All right, good to go. I'm going to add some delay here coming from my Valhalla delay, which you guys are hearing. This is my dual dotted 8th note delay in most of my videos. The interface will update. There it is. And I'm using the Pro R2 for my reverb. And away we go. Yes. I love it. That's real sequence stuff. Let's solo this. Oh yeah. I love it. We might even put a sub oscillator on it. Perfect. There we go. There we go. So now we're really opening things up. We've got our second sequence in there. Again, this could be vital, this could be current, this could be ultra. I'll say it. Who cares? It doesn't matter, right? Let's go back to our chart. So now we're building the journey. And the third point that I have to make is creating scenes. All right, tension and release. How are these things setting the scene? And the most important part, I think, is what type of story are you creating? But then what's the story? And not only what's the story, but what kind of story is the music telling you? Remember that quote from Don Tyler? Let the LFOs tell their own story. Ah? Remember that one? So we've got our intro, we've got our build-up, right? And then it dives down. That soundscape faded out. We've now got our new sequence that's coming in. You see where we're going with this? Okay. Let me go ahead and pull out 16 more bars here. And pull pull this out. Let's let this go for till 65. Perfect. Turn off Stepic. Actually, you know what? We'll drag in 16 more bars. You can keep dragging randomized MIDI over to your timeline and you're gonna get a new result every time. So I'll pull it out again. I get a new value, right? A new set of 16 bars. That's pretty powerful stuff. So now we've got our sequence coming in. Nice. I love it. So now you might even think about, okay, maybe the other sequence can fade down. Maybe we could maybe the soundscape can come in. Maybe another pad can come in, right? This is really the artistry. Because look, now we've got something really good going. And this is how you get beyond a 32 bar loop. It's about construction. It's about feeling, it's about instinct, and holding yourself accountable to push yourself further. That's where we're going with this. Beautiful. Sounds so good. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go ahead. Now in Ableton, you can do a Control E, and that splits the pattern. So that's sort of like slice. In Logic, you have the razor blade. Drag this out. This can fade down. So now we just have our new sequence. Love it. And maybe the lead can come back. I love it. Let's do it. Yeah. Nice. I love it. I love it. And that bass is going to come back. So a lot of the times I call this workshopping, where I'm just kind of like workshopping ideas, playing with different things, moving from section to section. Oh yeah, you can get into a rhythm here. Now in Ancient Technology 4, there are some sequences in there. I want to take a look at those. They're called ARPs. Through the Portal. This is a good one. Oh yeah. Let's go and play this. Ooh, what if that just came in and it just kind of like every so often like and then just kind of spaced it out. So let's take a 4-bar MIDI clip here. This is real off the cuff Signs of Life. I mean, we're just, you know, we're just going for it. You know what I mean? But I mean, hey, it's 2026. Like, what other choice do we have? Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. So it's not constant. It's just like every 2 bars. It's very subliminal. That's more reverb to it. You can automate the reverb. Just saying. Gorgeous. Wow. Let's go back to the chart. So this could be your quote-unquote breakdown, right? How are things coming in? How are things coming out? And again, going back to the inner feeling. How does it feel? This all matters. Because if you think about it, music production is not just a technical exercise in arrangement or sound design. It's so much more than that. It's so much more than that, especially at the highest levels. I did a short the other day about the mental aspect of music production. It's so important because at the highest levels of music production, it gets entirely mental. Where the decisions that you make, it's not what you're doing, it's who you're being. It's the state you're embodying. That's what matters. So the stuff we do here is a result of the work you do on the inside. And eventually, the outer reflects that. So now, let's go back to our span. We're already on point number 4. Let's go back to our span. And we're really gonna dive into this spectrum analysis. Because now we've got, you know, a lot on the canvas here, so to say. We're being mindful of the phasing here, okay? I think our bass could actually come up in volume, honestly. See, I got a high end here. So let's actually turn up our bass. Ooh. There we go, a little bump in volume there, never hurt. Okay, let's go back to our span. Oh yeah, that's it. So this is how you go beyond the loop. It's deep, y'all. It's deep. You gotta dig deep, and you gotta go beyond where you think you could go and become someone you've never been. In order to go somewhere you've never been, you gotta become someone you've never been. That's a quote, not from me, but it's a good one. So, and I think that involves the foundation. And the foundation here is the bass. We're at 6 minutes, okay? We're already 6 minutes into our track. Let's add this. We're gonna duplicate this over. Let's create the minor finale bass line, as I call it, okay? And we'll do it real slow, because we're at 88 beats per minute. So maybe that could be 8 bars. Each note could be 2 bars long. All right, it's gonna go by one more time. So we're playing an F. So the 3 notes that we are going after are D flat, E flat, and F for 4 bars. Booyah. So I'm gonna drag this over, and then our sequence is gonna come back, okay? And maybe this ends here. Let's end this here. I'm gonna pull it here. The lead's gonna come out. We're gonna duplicate this lead. It's gonna happen over here. And the soundscape will finally come back. Once that bass starts. I abandon all hope. I have no idea if this is gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I've done this a couple times. Here we go. The evil signs laugh. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 88 beats per minute, F minor. But listen to that. It's all coming together, and now we can fade in that sequence again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. If this video has resonated with you in any way, I'm glad. And what you can do is embody this knowledge and do it yourself. That's really what this is all about. I'm not up here just doing this for fun, because this is what I do all day long. This is me, this is my art. And I'm offering it to you because I want you to do the inner work, to go through the process of transformation so you can become this. That's what this channel is here for. That's what this is all about. So if you want to learn more, you want one-on-one instruction from me, I do this every week, forever. Reach out to me. My website is down below. Ancient Technology 4 releases on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. If you want to support me and support this channel, go buy Ancient Technology 4. Enjoy it. These presets are the highest quality I can give. And yeah. And I'll be back again soon with more videos like this one. So in the meantime, take good care, you guys. And as always, your head's in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. I am Chris from Signs of Life. And I'll see you guys in the next video.